Guys, thought I'd give you a bit of a rundown on what I take away camping with me when I'm camping on the TransAlp. I love getting out and about, doing a fair bit of camping. Yeah, my background, I've been hiking, backpack hunting up through the high country all my life. So we sort of figured out a little bit of what to carry, what not to carry, what works, what doesn't works. But I'll take you through a little bit. All the stuff you see sitting in front of you now is basically what I take away on an overnight trip or multi-day trips. The only thing that's not visible at the moment is my sleeping bag. I don't have it in a stuff sack, it's a down bag, but that gets stuffed in sort of to fill the gaps afterwards. Other than that, in there would be a bag of food that I would normally take. That would be sort of what else I'd add to there, and obviously the chair that I'm sitting on at the moment, which is just a Mountain Designs hiking chair. Yeah, fairly cheap to pick up, nice and light. All this stuff goes in Rhino Walk 24 litre bags, I think they are each side. Yeah, 24 litres each side. The only thing that doesn't go in those bags is I generally have giant loop 4 litre water bladder that will sit up on top of the seat behind me. That's about the only thing I have strapped on the seat behind me. I like to keep all the weight down low if possible, because we do get into a bit of rougher stuff. And I find if I have stuff sitting on the seat behind me, being a little bit of a short ass, you know, and when I stand up my butt's really not that high off the seat, it does impede me getting my weight back, especially when, you know, doing a bit of the rougher stuff or hitting the sand or things like that. So yeah, I'll take you through sort of my sleep system, my cook system, and whatever bits and pieces I have sitting in front of me. Alright, so sleeping wise, so tent, currently at the moment running a Onetigris TP tent. Only been using these for a little while now, but found them to be really good. They have a big footprint, so I think they're 2.4 metre by 2.4 metre footprint on these. Poles are here for those. So it also gives, I think peak height is 1.6 metres, which is great for me. I can almost stand up in the middle. We did modify these slightly by, instead of having one centre pole, we run a pole splitter that splits them down the side, so it allows you to utilise all that centre peak height really well. With the extra poles that we run for that, it comes in at about 2.1 kilos and packs up nice and compact, so yeah, pretty impressed with those so far. Different tents in my time, you know, from stupidly cheap to stupidly expensive, you know, Nemos, Hillenbergs, etc. like that, up in the top sort of echelon of 4-season mountaineering tents. And look, yeah, they are great, they are minimalistic, but not really needed for the type of stuff I do. I think this is a very good compromise for in between. Sleeping wise, at the moment, trying a Kilos gear sleeping mat, very small, very compact. I'm not sure on the weight of this one, very light though. Quite comfortable, it's got a reasonably high R rating, but personally at the moment I think it probably runs a little bit colder than its R rating, but I'm still testing this out a little bit. It's a very noisy bag, hence why at the moment I run an Alton gear, fitted sheet over the top of it. It does quieten it down, does make it a bit more comfortable and a lot less slippery. Sleeping bag wise, what I run is currently running a Mountain Designs Latitude 700 down bag. I think it's rated comfort for -3. Again, it's on the cheaper side, that bag. I got rid of a lot of my other bags that I had in the past, like Western mountaineering bags, etc. Trying the adventure side of things, going back into that. It's not a bad bag. I don't like it in the dead of winter. I think I need to probably go to a bit warmer bag, I think. But I'll probably, for next winter coming up, I'm going to go try one of the quilts, something like a Neve gear or a Nuttanack or something along those lines. Yeah, other than that, what we have in front of, sleeping wise, so pillow wise, this one in here is a Nemo Fillo standard pillow. It's not the deluxe, it's the standard. Tried a lot of pillows in my time, you know, from stuff sacks with clothes in them to cheap blow-up pillows. This is a little bit more on the expensive side. I think they run it around about $70 or something, but it's foam filled with an air bladder as well, so extremely comfortable. Very, very happy with that one. Highly recommend them. The cheaper blow-up ones, look, for me personally, just can't get comfortable on them, so that's been gold. Other than that, sleeping wise, that's sort of about it sleeping wise. Alright, as I said, yeah, water wise, 4 litre giant loop bladder, love them, gold, strap them to the bike, throw them on the ground, hang them off a tree. I've jumped on this, I think we even ran over one of them. It's been bulletproof, great bit of kit. Again, not the cheapest, but awesome bit of kit. I also generally carry, it's a 1 litre hydro pack, I think it's called. Collapsible bottle that goes in my tank bag. I normally have that filled up with just normal water with some Hydrolite or something similar in there. That way I'm always sipping on. I don't like carrying packs anymore. I used to when I was doing a lot of enduro riding. I used to have all the different sort of riding packs, Zach Speeds, etc. But now I find I just don't like having a pack on my back. So 1 litre up in the tank bag, gets refilled as we go. Hydrolite in that, it's been really good. First aid kit, different people take different things. We take a reasonably comprehensive one between us. We do double up on some stuff, but we do split some other stuff between us. So in here I do have all your normal stuff, but I do have heavy wound dressings. We carry some very strong painkillers. We have tourniquets, proper tourniquets in there. We carry Israel bandings with Israel bandages, I should say, with quick clot, etc. on them. We are all sort of first aid trained, etc. So having that sort of stuff, well, hopefully you shouldn't need it, but it's good to have. Spares, so bolts, hose clamps, electrical fittings, some wire, etc. The normal spares that I take that suit my bike. Different bikes, different spares. Headlamp. At the moment, just running some cheap, rechargeable, kick-ass headlamps. I think they were like $12 each. I ended up getting them as a deal. I got 4 of them. You just charge them off. They just take a C. They've got an 18650 battery in them. They last okay. Look, they're not fantastic. Is there better headlamps out there? 100% there is. LED lens, all the good stuff. But for what the price of them, can't go wrong with those. This one, Flextail micro pump. So I think this is the pump 2 or pump 3. Also has a light built into it, so it doubles as my tent lamp. Rechargeable again, USB-C, great for pumping up air mattresses, etc. Deflating air mattress if you want a quick pickup. It's awesome, so it can go both ways. Sort of something that's fairly new that I bought. Highly recommend it, love it, think it's great. Sitting there sort of almost passing out, blowing up your airbag. So I like that. Giant loop, this is I think 7 and a bit litre fuel bladder. Don't always take this with me, it just depends on where we're going. If we're sort of going out longer, if we think we may do some longer day stints or longer rides or in between camps where it's going to have a fair bit of fuel range required, fill it up. I like the fact that you can literally just roll them up once it's done. So as soon as you got range in your tank, dump them in your tank, roll them up, stick them away, get them out of the way, nice and strong. Pretty simple. Pump for the tyres, because I do change tyre pressures quite a lot depending on terrain I'm on. I like to drop, normally run sort of 35, 36 PSI on the road. As soon as I hit gravel, I'm normally down. We normally drop them down, sort of that 22, PSI roughly. So little rechargeable pump. This is a Rainco one. Works well. Look, there's probably better pumps, I think, and I'm probably going to change that to go back to the motor presser directed battery pump. This has worked well. but I would use this as by yourself type thing. You wouldn't want to use it in a group. It thermal cuts out after about, say 4 tyres. And again, you are relying on making sure it's charged. So if you're not very organised, you might run out. It might be flat. But so far, it's been pretty good. Can't complain too much. Camp shoes, just slip-on water shoes. Got good grip, got reasonable toe protection. Do take my Crocs every now and then, but these pack a lot smaller, easier to fit in. Actually work really well. I do like to do a little bit of fishing on my way, so I have some, which is not seen here, but some travel rods. Depending on whether we're going up chasing trout or chasing cod or stuff like that. I've got 5 to 6 piece travel rods that break down to really small. These work really well in the water, good grip on slippery rocks. Knife wise, so a crafting knife, I take this as my steak knife, my general cutting knife. It's just a Barco knife, works really well. Grab these from Total Tools, can't remember what the price, they're fairly cheap, but they take an absolute beating, these things. They stay really sharp. Great for doing most stuff around camp. Tech towel, pretty straightforward, pretty self-explanatory. Toilet paper down in there. Jet boil is my normal go-to. Generally carry a jet boil with me for food. This one here, so a water filter. So in this bag, we generally take a water filter with us. Most of us carry one. Have a 3 litre collapsible bladder, goes into that. Holds 3 litres. Hydro pack again, awesome. I use a Sawyer, not the mini. I don't like the mini, to me it's hard to use, I think, but the Sawyer standard squeeze. Look, they're good. They'll do most of your stuff. Do you want to carry some puration tablets? Yeah, maybe. I don't. Haven't run into problems yet. That being said, it's always a possibility. We do carry a bigger one. Of my mates carries a Canadian hiker pump filter. If we're pumping mass water, that's really quick. These are good for just screwing on the end of the 3 litre bladder. You can gravity feed into another bladder, etc. Really, really good. I think they're a must carry if you're going to be out bush, because you can't always rely on getting clean water. I've carried some sort of filter all my life when hiking up, even hiking up into the backcountry, hunting, things like that. Good pure water up in there, but still carried it. Used it multiple times. Works really well. Pretty happy with that. What else we got down here? Little kitchen bag. So this one here basically carries all my kitchen essentials for eating. Had this one for, I think me and one of my mates bought one of these who I ride with. I think we bought these when we first started backpack hunting 20 plus years ago, probably 25 years I'd say. We've had this one. It's worked really well. So basically in this one, the normal fold up cup, fold up plate bowl, knife, fork. I put tea, coffee in there, some little salt and pepper shakers, some spices, some cooking oil, etc. All folds up nicely in there. It covers everything I need to do for eating. So other than that down here, I think that's about it. Canister wise for the jet boil, generally 100 gram canister, 4 to 5 days is fine for what we do. If I think we're going to need more, we'll carry the next size up, but generally 100's been fine, and we're all using the same cook system anyway, so if one's getting a bit low, we've always got spare, sort of. Right, so under my seat, 3 toolkits there. So the sort of one where it normally goes from OEM, got another one in here, another one in there. That carries basically all the tools I need to do most trackside sort of repairs, I guess. Just under here, I think you can just see there, that's a dry bag that's got 3 good sized tyre levers in it that permanently stays on the bike. And just on this side here as well, that's got a 21-inch heavy duty tube, so I can stuff that in the front or the back as well to get me out of trouble. Just down in here is this stuff. It's called Litre. I think it's Australian made. Sidewall patches, they use it on 4-wheel drives a lot. Works pretty well apparently, so not bad if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you stake a sidewall of the tyre, should get you out of trouble at least. Other than that, that's sort of what tool wise, that basically doesn't change when I'm doing day trips or overnight trips or longer trips. I do tend to carry a spare bolts and stuff in a small pack as well that goes in one of my panniers. Alright, so clothes wise, generally all I take when I'm away, I don't sit around in my riding gear. I hate sitting around in boots, so I've got my camp shoes. I'll take a lightweight pair of hiking pants that zip off as shorts as well. They're handy, they dry really quickly. Yeah, spare pair of jocks, spare pair of socks of course. The usual. For sitting around camp, normally got, I take a down jacket. I think I've got my one at the moment, maybe a Hillenberg down jacket, which I also use as insulation under my riding jacket. Stuffs down nice and small. It's got a good weight to warmth ratio, and you're not carrying bulky sort of gear. As a shirt, like I'll normally carry like a spare riding shirt, like a jersey or an undershirt, something similar. Also carry a lightweight fishing shirt. They're very light, long sleeve, breathe really well, pack down small. Yeah, and that's sort of really about it, clothes wise. You know, if I really need to wash something, there's always water. We can give them a quick rinse, and being quick drying, they dry really quickly. So I find that absolute key. You know, is finding stuff that's lightweight, packable, dries quick. When it comes to food, yeah, look, I think we've tried every brand of dehydrated, hiking, making our own, pub meals, whatever. You know, done it all. Basically, we don't take lunches because we're doing day. We generally ride from camp to camp for a day on our longer trips, so we'll have a fuel stop sort of midday anyway, so we'll grab lunch then. Breakfast wise for me, it's generally either muesli or wheat bix, which I pre-package in vac bags, so I vac them down with powdered milk and the sugar or whatever I like in there. We have the ratios worked out, that then you just got to add a little bit of water, shake them up, yeah, eat them out of the bag so you're not making, you know, sort of too much mess, having to wash dishes, etc. That works generally well. I think I normally have 4 wheat bix for breakfast or whatever sort of muesli. I find that works really well for breakfast. It's not too heavy, quick and easy to do. Lunches, yeah, as I said, on the go. Dinners, look, at the moment we're tending to lean towards overnight trips. We might take some fresh food, like we might grab a nice steak, something like that, have that defrosting as we're riding. It's generally pretty good by the time you get there. But for our longer trips, normally running at the moment, I've been trying the new on-track or off-track meals. I think what they're called, they're a wet meal. They have a couple of year shelf life, so that, but they're real food inside. Absolutely beautiful, really nice and tasty. Downfall of those, I guess, is that they pack a little bigger, a little bit heavier. You've got to be a little bit more careful. You know, if you're dropping the bike or something like that and your food's sort of on the outside, you could potentially pop one. I haven't yet, but taste-wise, fantastic. You can buy heat bags for those, which you only literally add, I think, about 60 ml of water. It has a chemical reaction, steams the food inside. That works really well. Or you can drop them in a pot like the jet bowl, sort of fold them a little bit, drop in boiling water for 10 minutes or whatever. They're good. On the longer trips though, we sort of, your normal backcountry have been good. I find that 20 years ago they were better. The quality of the taste and the flavours seems to have gone downhill a little bit. But lately we've been trying Campers Pantry stuff and was quite surprised. It's a dehydrated meal, so nice and light, but actually has real, if it's got chicken in it for instance, it's actually real chicken. The only thing we did find with them on our last trip we did for 5 days up from Melbourne up into Balranald, Hay, that type of area, was that they were a little bland. So a little bit of salt and pepper in there, absolute works wonders, and it's probably going to be my go-to from now on. I think the bolognese we had real mincemeat, the chicken cacciatore or something I think it called, had real chicken in it, was great. All that stuff was really good, so probably my go-to from now on. Snack wise, yeah, look, depending, salami sticks, muesli bars, always a packet of lollies for a quick energy hit. I always have hydrolyte sachets in there because I find that I tend not to drink enough, so that helps me with my hydration anyway. But yeah, sort of, we do take mini grills with us at times, various things, we can cook a steak over the coals, it just sort of depends, but our general go-to is, those campers' pantries, backcountry type meals, boiled to eat. Tea, coffee, always take that. Like my coffee, like my tea. Been taking recently backcountry's dehydrated thick shakes. Absolute gold after a hard day's riding. Get to camp, finally start camp, and you've been on the bike, long day, having that sweetness and that, you just literally put some water in there, give them a shake, and it's like a thick shake. Great, you can buy them. I always grab them when they're on special, having a sale at BCF or whatever. They stay on the shelf for ages, so they're great, love them. That's sort of about it food-wise, I think, for now. The other thing I didn't show in here, I guess, was that fold-up bow saw, 20, uses the standard bow saw blades, 20 inches or whatever they are. Look, if you're going out bush, you're having a fire, nothing worse than sitting there having to try to burn through big logs or step on sticks and break and whatever. The bow saw, look, straps to the top of my pannier so it doesn't get in the way of anything. It's hardy, it's got the saw in there, it's got 3 blades I think I carry as well. Blades are cheap, get them in any hardware store, and makes firewood collection an absolute breeze. Cuts through firewood, your normal firewood, even red gum and that. Absolutely awesome. Not a dear one. My mate, he runs one of the expensive ones, which is great. It's probably a little bit stiffer than this one. This one was a eBay buy. Not super cheap, not very expensive, around maybe $50 odd. And it works really, really well. So wouldn't be about that. Alright, so I sort of think that covers about everything I take. As I said, the only thing you're not seeing there is the chair I'm sitting on. So I'll take. Love having again. As I said, any questions, feel free to reach out.